What's up, everybody? How you doing? Bills did a couple of things today. Sixers Bucks. 1 second. We can do this possession here. Oh no, what's the turnover? No, all right. Bills bring back a couple restricted free agents. Levi Wallace on less than. Well, actually, they haven't really brought two guys back yet. They brought one guy back. Levi Wallace has re-signed on a 1-year deal. Didn't see the terms in terms of how much money. And the other thing the Bills did on Wednesday is they tendered restricted free agent Ike Boettger, which means if someone else signs him, the Bills have the opportunity to refuse or to match the contract or allow him to go and sign with another team. Most likely, Ike Boettger will be back. Might cost the Bills a couple $1 million. But both moves are important because on the offensive line, we saw last year Cody Ford missed the end of the season. Mitch Morse had another concussion. So the interior of the Bills' offensive line is certainly in a position of being a high risk when it comes to injury. So you need another depth guy in there, and Boettger could certainly provide that. He was a guy that last year started a bunch of games and was just fine. It was ugly. Get in there. Nope. Okay. So having a guy like Boettger around is incredibly important because you cannot depend on Mitch Morse as your center on his 5th concussion to play 16 games. Now, if Morse goes down, the Bills can go to John Feliciano in the middle. That puts Boettger back in. So assuming Boettger doesn't sign some sort of contract the Bills don't want to match, he should be back and should provide important depth. Same goes for Levi Wallace. Now, look, I will tell you until I am blue in the face that Dane Jackson is going to be the starter as the second corner next year. Brandon Bean talked about the fact that they like him. A guy who played only 2 games last year, who was a 7th-round pick. If they're talking about him being someone they like going into next season, then you know how important they are to the plans. What's going on here? Yeah, whatever. So Dane Jackson should be, well, I think he's going to be the starter at the second corner. Levi Wallace offers a veteran option should Dane Jackson not continue to get better or have some sort of problem. Now the question is, will the Bills spend further money at the position and find someone else? Remember, in previous years, they've had Levi Wallace and Kevin Johnson, Levi Wallace and Josh Norman. Now, Levi Wallace is fine. I'd put him maybe this much above replacement level, but he's fine. He's fine. He can play the game. So if Dane Jackson doesn't work out, do the Bills just go with Levi Wallace, or do they find another veteran? And the problem with that is they're pretty much out of money right now. They don't have, money to spend against the cap. They spent $20 million on Manuel Sanders, on Darrell Williams, and Matt Milano, and we don't even know what the John Feliciano year 1 cap hit is. They only had, even after all the different ways they saved money, they only had about $30 million to spend. So they're right up against it, realizing they still need to put about $6 million into the draft class this year. So there's not a whole lot more room to mess around with another veteran corner. So I think Levi Wallace, is going to be the guy. Now look, they could bring someone else in. Maybe they find someone who's really cheap, a $2-3 million veteran, just to be on the safe side, which wouldn't be a terrible idea. But any money you spend on that, it takes away from something else. Do the Bills want to go after Zach Ertz or another tight end? I think they're going to sign somebody. Do the Bills still want to go after a pass rusher? I desperately hope they do, because that right now is their number one crying out need. So any money you spend on another corner, hurts you in the pursuit of something else at this point. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Bills go with Dane Jackson and Levi Wallace and maybe just another super cheap veteran just in case. And that might be the extent of their corner spending. But to at least bring back Levi Wallace was a necessary move. What do you guys got here? Dan Walker, appreciate the manners as always. Lexi got down early, Terry. Sometimes around here, I'm doing the late show. She has a story for tonight. Actually, a really good story, by the way. High school football player Rondecoy destroyed his leg week 1 of the season last year. Had a practice accident, multiple broken bones, tore ligaments, just ripped it up. And the fact that the pandemic pushed football from the fall to the spring actually benefited him. So that's our story tonight. Alexa's got that all done. So around here, the way it works is when your work is done, you can go home. No reason to hang out and be, background decoration for my Facebook Live. Nick Foles for Allen. I don't think Nick Foles is off the Bears yet, Corey, is he? I'll look that up for you real quick. I thought he was a Bear. Maybe. Corey, when it comes to the backup quarterback for the Josh Allen, again, the Bills are up against it cap-wise. So they're going to have to pick their battles where and how they spend their money. And to spend, like, Nick Foles is going to cost money. I mean, Nick Foles is going to be, even as a backup, probably $5 million at least, maybe a whole lot more. I don't think the Bills have that kind of money. They're going to have to go cheap on a backup quarterback, and it might be so cheap that it's Jake Fromm. So I don't think Nick Foles comes here. I'd really be surprised, and frankly, I would significantly criticize the move because the way they are salary cap wise right now, they still have, to me, going into the offseason, their top two things that needed to be improved were pass rusher and tight end. And frankly, their top five things might have been pass rusher, tight end, pass rusher, pass rusher, pass rusher. So they haven't addressed any of that so far. To spend big money on a backup quarterback like Nick Foles just doesn't make sense to me. James Shaw, more free agent moves like tight end. Yeah, there's going to be a new tight end in Buffalo. I think Ertz is a possibility. That's going to require some cap gymnastics for sure, but there are doable things doable changes the Bills can make to current contracts to open up that space. But there will certainly be a tight end, just a matter of who. And by the way, my gut is not Ertz. I'd say 70-30 against Ertz right now. Certainly a possibility, just not the most likely scenario. Andy Bergio checking in from Tampa. Thanks, man. Damien, talking back to Corey. I appreciate it. Richard, appreciate the comment there. Everybody's got a right to their own opinion. John Ayala, I don't know if run stopper is a big need. Remember, Starlo Tule's back. I like what Vernon Butler did last year. Harrison Phillips is kind of his job. So I think the Bills are okay at run stopper. I don't know if they're great, but I don't know. I don't think they'll be adding anybody else. They need to find a pass rusher, that's for sure. I think you're right. Let me see, Corey, in terms of the player. Yeah, Ronnie Garrow. You're right, Corey. You got the guy. The most famous person to die from my pandemic? I don't know, Richard. I don't think anybody died in my pandemic, fortunately. Oh, yeah, Terry, good story with Veronica. You got to check it out. It's really interesting to see how he managed, the whole recovery and how he's going to come back. Now, high school football season starts in 2 days, on Friday, day after tomorrow. So it'll be weird having March football, but it'll be fun. Oh, no kidding, is he? Good story, Corey. If you can't see it, let me know, man. I'll send you a link or something. Mark Conlon, will they go after Clowney? I don't think so. I think Jadeveon Clowney is going to be a guy that's going to be too expensive for them. There aren't many big expensive guys left, but I will say that the edge rusher market has been booming. I mean, Bud Dupree's making 16 mil. Who else? Leonard Floyd got big money. So a guy like Clowney, I think he's going to command at least 10, maybe 12 mil. I don't think that's Buffalo's guy. To me, the Bills, maybe an Alden Smith, but Carlos Dunlap is the name I think Bills fans should watch. Here's a guy that's towards the back end of his career. The Seahawks released him, hasn't been signed yet. I think he might take a 1-year cheaper deal to play for a championship. Played all those years in Cincinnati, so hasn't had that much experience with, chasing championships and playoffs. Carlos Dunlap, to me, is the most likely guy, if they can afford him. I'm not even sure they can afford him. Richard, you're killing me. Andy, hola, senor. Como está? I was a season ticket holder for many years and a sponsor with Nationwide Insurance. Cool. Richard's advertising for himself on my Facebook page, on my Facebook chat. Hope he enjoys that. Okay. We're going to call it a night. Everybody but Richard, thanks for the comments. Oh, what do you got here, John? I'll give you one more. Yeah, main need is pass rusher. And serviceable, I think if I were the Bills, spend on pass rusher, serviceable tight end would be my plan at this point as well. Again, I don't know if they even have the money to really spend on a pass rusher, but we will see. All right, guys, thanks for checking in. I will see you later.